As usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes and not intended as financial advice. So if you made it through part 1, congrats. Here's part 2, which will cover more coins, I think. I haven't really counted these, but they're all here. This list has shifted slightly because it's by volume I'm sorting. I'm going to start with the bottom and go up from there. Most of these, I'm guessing, are just going to be absolute untradeable messes, like SteemDollars, for instance, which is like a scam on top of a scam. So 5,200 on the daily, nothing to be had there. 4 hour, super noisy. You can see it's just, technically it's just a mess. Cloud, single daily, a mess. 4 hour, we're starting to get somewhere. This is how Cure and FLDC looked. The only caution I would use with here is that the cloud isn't too reliable as far as levels are concerned. When you see this just massive cliff here, because these alts get pumped like crazy to this insane level. But anyway, so this is just half of this move, and normally I would say I expect it to go here. But knowing what Steem, not knowing what Steem is about, really, I can't really say that with any confidence. Alright, so that's single cloud. Double cloud is going to be even more of a mess. Daily 4 hour, again, your level is just half of this. So if you want to scratch off that lottery ticket and buy and hold, by all means. Next is NameCoin, which the last time I did a video on this, won the most bearish chart award. Just absolute death. NameCoin being one of the oldest cryptocurrencies, the alternative cryptocurrencies. So I'm just going to delete that, but we had the 5,200 probably in March, and yep, that's March. Great. Not really actionable on that time frame. Nothing actionable here either, although it really likes the 50 at the moment. You can see that. It's just bouncing like a yo-yo on the 50. Nothing as far as actionability is concerned that I'd want to trade. And if it's super rangy like that, it's going to be really messy on the cloud. So maybe you'll get a head or a cup and handle situation here. 4 hour, again, the cloud is just going to be a mess because range on the cloud doesn't look good. But I've never seen a more perfect triangle. So my guess is some sort of bot doing all that, but who knows? This was definitely a falling wedge pennant situation, but nothing I'd want to be in based on technicals. Double cloud, again, nothing you really want to be in. The levels would be these cliffs here and here and here. So there's definitely plenty of upside, but cloud, I don't know. I wouldn't use the cloud to trade this. I would just buy and hold this if I was trading this. Next up is PeerCoin, also a very old coin. 2014 is when it first started trading. And again, nothing but death. Although recently had the W bottom in December and a cross in March. No surprise there. 4 hour, again, it's bouncing on the 50. I think NameCoin and PeerCoin tend to move together, kind of like Made and Factom do, and Dash and Ethereum to some extent. But again, nothing I'd want to be in if I wasn't already in it. And on the cloud, singled. It looks pretty good. It's hugging the Kijun here, which is what you want to see. It's got a volume div, RSI div, meaning higher highs in price, lower on lower volume and on lower momentum, basically is what that's saying. But I do like this for continuation more than PPC anyway. And then your targets would be, again, these cliffs. Really, this zone here, and then whatever half of this is, 269, 270, something like that. 4 hour, just a mess. Big, again, it's just ranging, so nothing you want to trade on the 4 hour cloud there. And if we go to the daily doubled, you can see it very nicely broke out of the cloud here, so that was your long entry signal. And again, it's moving really quick for the doubled cloud right now. And it's kind of pretty rangy, so again, not great for the cloud. So here's Unity, which somebody was asking me about after the last video. You can see when you get these gaps in the candles, that just means it was just not traded that entire day. So you can see recently it's been traded throughout the day at least. You have your W bottom, you have your 5200 cross, which just happened a few days ago, 3 days ago now. So that in itself is worth an entry. Coupled with the W bottom, you can see it already had pretty substantial gain. I think it still has legs. The 5200 on the 4 hour occurred in March. Again, no surprise. Let's go to the singled cloud here, and not much on the daily. TK cross is bearish. Just a garbly mess. The level you'd expect, though, would be here, which it essentially already hit. And why is that the case? Because it's a flat Kumo. You can see this happened in Bitcoin once a while back, but we had a flat Kumo here and at the same time a flat Kumo here. So it probably hit this before this one even formed. Let's see. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see double flat Kumos here, and basically there's two magnets pulling it in one direction or the other when everything moves super quick like this. And on the 4 hour you had a really nice entry as far as the long's concerned down here with the Kumo breakout, and just now is the lagging span coming out of the cloud. So I think long term this is an okay hold. Your targets look limited just based on the cloud here, but I think overall the target would be somewhere up here, but it's really tough to say just because it wasn't really traded much early in 2014, 2015. Oh, this has been around since 2014. Huh. Never even heard of it until today. And on the double daily, again, it's blown out, just not much as far as actionability or readability with the cloud is concerned. But on the 4 hour, you can see there's an active edge-to-edge trade. So again, if you use the singled cloud on 4 hour, just use a cliff as far as your targets are concerned. So anything up here is all resistance and Y because it's the 50% of this whole move. But if you're using doubled, your target is always just the other edge of the cloud. That's why I just prefer doubled, because I don't have to think about it. It's just on autopilot. Moving on to XVC, Vcash, never heard of it. Definitely bearish. It's below the 200. It's had the W bottom. It hasn't had the 5200 cross yet, so that'd be worth waiting on, probably. Looks like this is some sort of low time frame flag or pennant going on. And on the 4 hour, you can see it had a cross in March. Overall, it's got some local resistance here at this 1200, 1255 level. So should it break that, expect to test 30K for sure. If we go to the daily cloud, everything looks good. It's had higher volume here, RSI is higher, so there's no div or anything, it's above the cloud. If it had more volume, I'd consider buying it, but the technicals look good, but the volume is just ugh. If we go to the 4 hour here, XVC, some divergence as far as the bearish TK cross with the price below cloud, and so you don't want to buy that generally. And on daily doubled, again, your level would be this flat Kumo 2457. So it looks good for that level, but again, the volume is just super low. And 4 hours, just sideways mess. Okay. Here's PrimeCoin. Never heard of it, although it might be the one where there's something to do with prime numbers. I can't remember. Back in the day on Cryptsy, there was something mining with prime numbers or something. I don't know. Anyway, a 5200 just occurred a few days ago here, April 9th-ish. So that is a buy signal, considering it's just been nothing, nothing. Oh, look, something. Again, simple reads on all this stuff because it's just either trending down or not. It's not really in between at this point. Again, hugging the 50, just a garbly mess. Part of this is also order book being thin as well. If we go to the daily cloud, bearish TK cross, so again, possible cup and handle here. Your target being 30K and somewhere on these ledges here. Boom, 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 something like that. And on the doubled cloud, Again, same thing, 25 to 30K, and 4 hour, you'd be looking at, so you have the bullish TK cross, you'd be looking at 16, as far as the first target is concerned. Again, it's just the 50% of this move. Here's Quatloo, which I always want to call Quaaludes, but 5200 cross occurred in February here, late February. It's had a nice move. You can see it's been just ranging here, kind of like Doge, where it hits a ceiling for sure and then just pulls back. So if it can hold the 6K level, you know, expect it to test 1K or 12, but that's some loose evidence for that. 5200 cross on the 4 hour looks good as well, but this is probably just thin order book, somebody buying when they don't realize what's going on. That's my guess. Quatloo on the singled cloud, your target, again, this key June here. Not much upside at this point, but that's what you'd be looking at. And 4 hour, I've never actually seen a cloud look like this. That's interesting. Just could have hit, because it had two massive pump and dumps. Huh. Anyway, this is the target. Again, why it's flat Kumo, 52%. It hit that level already, edge to edge trade, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this upside is super limited, but the idea was certainly there. If we go to the daily doubled, targets again being flat Kumo, flat cloud, and the immediate targets anyway. 4 hour being the other edge of the cloud here. So when you see a singled cloud that looks noisy like this does, just go to the double cloud on the daily. Even though this also is weird, it's not as weird as the 4 hour on the singled anyway. So your target's being 7K essentially. Again, these are just local tops, so nothing major there. Here's FloCoin, 5200 occurred in March, and on the daily, and on 4 hour it also occurred in March. No surprise there, everything that's been moving for the past few weeks has certainly occurred about a month ago at this point on the 5200s. The singled cloud on the daily, so the target was here. Again, this sort of shows you, looking at all of these, where coins are in their pump cycles. So some of these coins are at the bottom, which is where I like to buy them, buy low, sell high. So you'll see, you know, this peak and then selling, and then sideways, and then it comes out of the cloud or into the cloud, and then you have to decide, do I want to buy this or not, based on that information, with this being the target. So it clearly went way past that target, but those are the safe targets anyway. So that's on the daily, and then the cloud, it also hit the second target. So after that, it would be approaching all-time high levels at 2300, something like that, which the flow people are going to like. 4 hour noise, but it looks like a broadening something, who knows. On the doubled cloud, again, you can see it had these levels here, it just blew past everything, blew past local highs even. It's in a dangerous spot to long, just because this has just all been resistance up until this point. Anything above 1500. And daily isn't really giving you entry signals on anything, and then 4 hours just a mess. Next up is Omni, which has also been around since 2014. Again, you're looking at these large gaps in days traded, where just nothing happens. So it's worth trading as you're starting to see more activity. And these 5200 crosses should be ignored just because of lack of activity. But this one obviously was real. This one is occurring now. Today, yesterday, let's see, what is this? Either yesterday or 2 days ago. So that looks good for a buy on the daily 5200. Here's the 4 hour, occurred in March, no surprise there. A very rounded cup. You don't really see that too often where it's that perfect. So that speaks to cup and handle, if anything. Let's look at it on the daily cloud. TK is almost recross bullish. So bullish TK cross on singled daily coupled with a 5200 daily 200 EMA, 5200 EMA cross, I think is good enough for an entry for sure. Your target would be low at like 0.01, and then anything else after that is tough to say, but you know, this could just push past all-time highs, certainly, maybe even to 0.025. Maybe this is the new Litecoin, folks. You just heard it here first. Omni is the new Litecoin. I know nothing about Omni. The 4-hour, doubled daily cloud looks good for more up. Everything's bouncing on support like it should have. And again, you know, this is sort of the bottom of the cloud signals as far as entries are concerned, because it's above the cloud. Everything's bullish. Cloud's bullish. It tried to pull back. It didn't. It held. So your first targets would be half of the previous move, and then just who knows what, you just hold it till 0.02 or something crazy like that. On the 4-hour, everything's bullish except the cloud, so the cloud has some time to come around, but again, this U is really promising. This is Cure, which had its 5200 cross a few days ago. I've been holding this coin for 3 months now at least, based on cloud signals, and we'll get to that. But you can see it's got sort of a W bottom situation. The immediate target's always half the previous move, and then all-time high levels. On the 4-hour, 5200 cross occurred in March. If we look at the cloud, single daily cloud, you can see the reason I liked it so much is because of the target being pretty high up, actually, considering where it came from 2 to 4K all the way up to 25K. As far as the targets are concerned, everything looks bullish as far as entries are concerned. Whether or not I would enter now, it's tough to say, but it certainly looks good based on this target here. 4-hour, nothing to speak of, unremarkable. 4-hour on doubles, unremarkable too, but daily doubled cloud, again, showing levels of 2500 as far as the first target's concerned. So that's why I was in it way down here. Next we go to XMG, Magi coin. 5200 occurred in March on the daily, no entry there. 4-hour it occurred much earlier, I'm assuming. Yeah, March 14th. Again, it's hugging the 50, it's bouncing like madness. Nothing I'd want to be in as far as entries on that. It's already hit its 50% of the previous high. Again, you're seeing this W bottom, price above cloud, so the entry was here. I would not get in this now, certainly. 4-hour, just garbly mess. Doubled, not much better, and the you know, it hit all these levels already, so the next targets are past all-time high, but do you really want to take that chance when there are others trades that are probably better and easier to take? 4-hour, again, garbly mess. Here's Via on the daily 5200, and one of the best reasons to hold this is because of Romano, the current lead dev, who's got a massive Twitter following. Other than that, it's kind of meh. 5200 occurred actually in December, so no entry to be had based on that on the daily. 4-hour it occurred in March, no surprise there. We move to the cloud. You can see, you know, after Romano took it, I don't exactly remember when. I think it was sometime in December, or it might have been, you know, when all this volume picked up. Doesn't matter. Point is, daily cloud says it's good to go for continuation. I would certainly expect it to try to retest 1100 first. It does look to be flagging a little bit here. And then levels would be really high up there. 45K. Sorry, I'm trying to sound excited. I just know it's ViaCoin. Okay, that's daily. 4-hour, not much to be said other than you might want to wait for the TK cross to recross, so you get a bullish cross here for an entry. But you know, if you're holding this over a long period of time, the 4-hour TK crosses aren't really a big deal. If we move to the daily doubled, again, everything's going to be looking gravy for continuation. Retest somewhere the 1100, 950, 9500 zone. Targets here, which hit. Here would be the next target, 30K rather. And 40K. So those are your targets, which honestly will probably be hit based on Romano's Twitter alone. And 4 hour looks good as far as the trend is concerned. You want to see it above the cloud, above the key June, bouncing on the key several times, testing cloud support, bouncing back up. So, you know, this is a good zone to buy, 13K. But if your target's 40 to 44K, just buy it here and let it go for months. You should be fine with a stop somewhere, you know, 5K down there, some low level, 5 to 8K probably. Here's CounterParty XCP, which is certainly worth putting on a watch list considering the 5200 on the daily has not occurred yet, the bullish 5200 anyway. So that's definitely worth watching. You can see it's triangling, ascending, descending, triangling, whatever it is, worth giving it a watch. 4 hour 5200 occurred, but it's not been really a great win overall, depending on how you trade it. If we move to the daily cloud, you can see the position again is at the bottom of all the cloud business. Yes, it's got a bearish TK cross at the moment, so you might want to wait for the bullish TK cross, but the targets are definitely up here, 80K, 800K, excuse me, something like that. On the 4 hour, just it's too rangy to worth caring about on that time frame. Daily doubled, it's out of the cloud, cloud's green, bullish TK cross, yada yada yada, everything looks good. Somewhere to 65 to 80K I'd expect as far as the targets are concerned. 4 hours too noisy. Here's VeriCoin, 5200 cross occurring today. So VeriCoin and CounterParty must be linked in some way. Star-crossed lovers. Anyway, the 5200 crosses have been messy. So we'll see if this pays off. But again, W bottom, 5200 cross. That looks good. 4 hour, 5200 occurred in March. No surprise. No actionability there. Again, you're getting a nice U. Cloud prices above cloud here on the 4 hour. But if we go to the daily, again, you know, you see this. That's what you want to see when you're waiting to get into it long. This would be the buy for sure. Then depending on where you stopped or where you hold it, this would be a rebuy for sure. And then again, you just hold it till these levels here. So it's got some upside for sure. Again, 4 hour, just a nice U. If it makes it past this resistance, expect it to go much higher. From 75 to 9,000. Something like that. 7.5 to 9,000. And then daily doubled 4 hour, just a garbly mess really, although it looks bullish. The TK cross just happened above the cloud. Cloud's bullish, but it's really too ranging and noisy to care. And then here's your beautiful target of 12362. I'll say that on the SAT. That wick's gonna hit on the SAT. Hit me back in like 3 months or a year. Let me know. VeriCoin 12362. Okay, and then the next level would be 16300. So, you know, again, if you're looking at just past results, how it's worked out, this got hit, even though this was the target. This hit, even though up here was the target. So there's always some leeway, but that's what you're looking for. These ledges, that's why they're so important. You can see on this massive volume, almost all-time highs in volume, if not all-time high in volume here. So there's no way that this just chills right here and doesn't go higher. Here's BitcoinPlus, which reminds me of Pet Supplies Plus. I don't even know if that store still exists, but I never knew what the plus stood for. If it was like they gave out the dog bones to your dog, if you came in with a dog, I don't know. Anyway, BitcoinPlus, a really nice, almost textbook flag here. This could turn out to be another U, but flag for sure, pennant, whatever you want to call it. The 5200 occurred a long time ago, but it had this spike. I don't know why, nor do I care, but 5200 occurred before the spike. So there's your reliability on that. 5200 on the 4 hour also occurred before the spike. Watch those crosses, folks. No actionable trades as far as that's concerned, though, currently, as far as entry signals. And again, I'm talking about magnets, flat Kumo to flat Kumo. This is a poor example just because this is, you know, it traded in this range for years and then something happened, I don't know what, and it just took off. If you know, you can tell me in the comments, but nothing too actionable on the daily cloud singled, but on the 4-hour singled, again, we're at the bottom of the cloud. It's decision time for the entry. You don't want to enter when prices up here on some of these coins, you know, it's making these rising wedges and already hitting their targets. This is the type of coin that hasn't hit any of its targets. It's barely flipping over bullish, but the targets would be this 047, 006. Is this another Omni, folks? Is this Omni 2.0? Litecoin 3.0? I don't know what BitcoinPlus is. Maybe I should probably look it up, but daily cloud again is going to be more blown out because it's all happened super quick. And I actually like this picture because, again, you're waiting on the bullish TK cross, you're waiting on price to enter cloud, you've got this massive flat Kumo target, and the longer the flat Kumo, the longer it's just ranged sideways. Now this could just be based on inactionability as far as trading is concerned, so it just sat sideways, but it's had movement, so it's been traded. So I really like this 0.066 level, 666666. Nice psychological number. As far as the targets are concerned, should the entry into the cloud occur. Here's Voxels, which fell to 500 sats from about 30k, it looks like. Ugh, yikes. Anyway, 5200 occurred in March. On the 4-hour, daily hasn't occurred because there hasn't been enough data, but it certainly looks good. Now the immediate target would be the 200 on the daily, as far as the resistance is concerned. Single cloud, again, you know, this is the picture you're looking for above the cloud, but at the bottom, and with plenty of targets here, all these cliffs, this being a highly probable 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again, another nice psychological number. But this is a fine entry for this coin, Voxels, right now, for sure. Volume's been descending, but it's just consolidating likely, and this will probably push higher. If we go to the daily doubled, this is what I really like to see on doubled cloud, because that tells me it's looking at even more data, and it's bullish cloud, price is above cloud, bullish TK at lagging span is almost above cloud. So this is like before the earliest entry based on the cloud system. So this looks really good for an entry, is what I'm trying to say. Not that I'm in it currently, but I will be after this video. So again, targets are, I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but something up here for sure. You know, there's plenty of resistance on the way up in this zone, so expect this first, 6, 5, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's BBR or BlueBerry. BoolBerry, sounds like a cereal. 5200 occurred in February. It's just been a rangy mess. 4-hour 5200 occurred in a few days ago, actually, on April 12th. It's currently flagging, so I certainly expect this to go higher without looking at the cloud, somewhere around 5800. Let's move to the single cloud daily. You can see it's got an active edge-to-edge trade. It had this bearish TK, now it has a bullish TK. 51 to 5400 is your target. Again, it's just a 50% move of the entire last move. We move to the doubled cloud. I love seeing this. Just the longest flat Kumo imaginable at 50k, basically 51k. It's certainly at the bottom of the cloud. Some questionable entry, but I like it overall. It's something I'm going to get into, but it does look pretty good. And then after that, 72 and 185. Ugh, how old is this coin? 2014 too. You know, I never heard of it till a few days ago, but it looks good for up. Not a great entry right now, but certainly soon. Definitely worth on watch list material. Here's GRC GridCoin Research, which it currently had a 5200 cross a few days ago. So worth making an entry just on that. It's certainly actionable. You can see it had a flag here. Flag situation. It's flagging again. You know, the resistance levels would be here and here. It looks like I have some notes on here actually. So an Ambroid's had some targets. The cloud has some targets up here. We'll take a look at those. On the 4-hour, 5200 cross occurred in March. And if we go to daily, singled cloud, entry is still okay. The fact that it pushed up again tells me it's believable and not going to be one of these situations where it just dips down again. And again, your target's 2, 3, 4, 5, some psychological level like that. On the daily double or daily singled and the 4-hour, not worth really watching. And we go to the doubled daily. Again, beautifully out of the cloud. Everything's bullish. TK, cloud, lagging span. Targets first 2163 and 5K basically. So that's beautifully painted there for you. Again, this is what you want to see. Doesn't mean these will happen. You know, this was painted for this and it didn't happen. So it is what it is, but those are the levels anyway. Here's RubyCoin, which clearly had some sort of event here for this. I don't really recall what it was, but it's kind of crazy considering it came from 500 sats and hit 002. Nothing certainly actionable on that daily cross or the 4-hour, just because it's just so insane. It doesn't even look like it's flagging or anything, just hugging the 50 at this point for many days. So that's good support. And again, because it's so blown out on this wick, this high time frame cloud's going to look weird. The 4-hour is going to look weird because it's going to give you this massive resistance zone. But should price close within it, the same rules apply. Edge to edge is expected. So expect 110,000, 110,000. Should it close within the cloud. So that's days or weeks away at this point. But certainly the targets are there. Again, double the cloud's going to look even worse on the daily and on the 4-hour, but the target's, again, 110,000 for sure, which is pretty high up. And I don't believe it in general because, again, you don't want to use the cloud when you're just seeing this craziness. The cloud isn't really built for that. Here is HunterCoin, which had its 5200 cross a few days ago, a month ago, 2 months ago at this point, January 31st. Certainly nothing actionable on the daily, nothing actionable on the 4-hour either. You know, I had this craziness just a few days ago, so it's probably not going to just pop right back up. If I look at the single daily cloud, again, it's pretty blown out. You got this support resistance zone, which is pretty huge. This black hole of real estate here. Going to the 4-hour, it looks like an active edge-to-edge trade, certainly. Perfectly viable here, 7185. You can see it's come down, it's gone sideways, and then it's starting to break into resistance again. We go to the daily cloud, again, it's going to look even worse than singled, and your double target is 6897. So certainly possible to be in this, but I don't know. It seems a little fast to be back up to this, 50% of this on no volume, but certainly possible. Here is Ardor. Haven't really heard of it other than in these videos. You can see it had the 5200 on the daily in March. An attempted bearish cross that got denied just recently, April 11th, on the 4-hour. On the daily, there just isn't enough data for a 200 even, but it's certainly at the local historic highs as far as resistance is concerned. This whole zone from 25 to 2000. So nothing I'd want to be in based on that. If we go to the singled cloud, Just a garbly nonsense of a mess for that exact same reason. And then doubled cloud is going to look even worse. I'm not even going to mention it, but this is probably like a, what does it look like on the weekly here? You know, if it breaks these levels, it's going to go higher. Don't overthink it for sure. Here's BlackCoin on the daily at the 5200 April 4th, which is not too many days ago. So that could be an actual entry. And the 4 hour it occurred in March. We go to the cloud, you know, and hit this target already. Pretty strong momentum here. This is definitely a RSI div and a volume div at the moment. It's nothing I really want to be long in, but you know, there's all this resistance, this whole zone here, just based on these wicks and this wick. So if it breaks all that, certainly expect something like 15K. But just looking at where it is now, looks good here. Again, you're getting a U, everything's bullish on the cloud, but you got this black hole of no support where it could just fall down. Going to the double daily. Let's go back to the weekly real quick. So weekly looks okay for this level. There you go. 1300. That's why it's important on some of these to just bounce around all the time frames if there's enough data. Because the cloud will start to fill in when there's enough data. And when you see this flat Kumo, that's the target. So that's weekly. Daily, you know, you can see that it's not as easy to see that as you can just click on it on the cloud there on the weekly. Here's a note daily, which is tough to take seriously based on whatever the hell happened here. 5200 cross just occurring now though with the W bottom, so that's worth an entry. You can see volumes decreasing, RSI's low, but again, whether or not you want this target that's not realistic at all. But as far as the entries are concerned, it looks okay for a long. Again, it's above the cloud, everything's bullish, blah blah blah. So the target's probably not this high, you know, this skyscraper of 20K, but probably even half of that's more realistic, 10K, something like that. There's the doubled daily. Again, it's going to show the same blown out garbage target. But the entry looks good, so the entry's okay, I just wouldn't rely on this as a target. Here's NAV, had its 5200 in March. 4 hour had it also in March, so nothing too actual there. It did just bounce off the 200 on the 4 hour. Cloud daily single looking okay, just waiting on the bullish TK cross. As far as targets are concerned, past all-time high at this point, somewhere up here, 6165. And on the doubled cloud, it did bounce near the Kijun, getting this U thing. It's nothing I want to touch at the moment though, based on this. Here's PascalCoin, which had an interesting listing on Poloniex that day. But the 5200 is approaching here on the daily, so that's certainly worth, 4 hour, so that's worth a watch. Not enough data on the daily, I didn't think there would be, but should it break the 50, expect that to be a good entry. And on the, is that a volume bar? No, okay. On the daily singled cloud, not enough data really to say anything. 4 hour singled, it is again really great looking for an entry. Everything's bullish TK. Lagging span's not above the cloud, but it's no less of a big deal. Targets being 33K, so Pasc is probably a buy with some low size currently, but it looks good based on technicals, and the double just going to be too much at this point because there's no data, so not even worth looking at. Here's StorjCoin, which has been around for a long time, and recently having its 5200 cross at or near all-time high levels, so you have to really believe to want to buy this up here. And the 5200 on the 4 hour occurred in March. The singled cloud, again, this is sort of like, do I really want to buy this? It already hit its target, it already busted out of the cloud. The answer is no for me. 4 hour looks okay, but nothing I want to be in at the moment. And then double cloud, it already hit its target, so it's really not even worth commenting on. Let it do its thing. If it breaks all-time high, so be it, but it's not an entry for me. Here's BitMark, which is probably the rangiest coin I've looked at in these 2 videos now. So whether or not these 50 turns are reliable, probably not, but one did occur a few days ago in end of March. And on the single daily cloud, again, it already basically hit its target, and it's pulling back. Do you want to be in this? No, I don't want to be in this. 4 hour is bouncing in the Kijun, but it's already, you know, it's already had much of its trend has already happened. Daily cloud hit the target, blah blah blah. Nothing I want to be in for sure. Here's Rads, 5200 in March. No actionability there. 4 hour in March as well with the bounce on the 200. We go to the cloud. They had some insane volume here, so it probably won't just stay at in this zone, which is essentially at historic highs. So this is probably a good coin to buy and hold for 2-3 months to just watch. If you want to wait for an entry as far as the cloud's concerned, just wait for the bullish TK cross here. And on the 4 hour, everything's good to go, especially if it breaks the local high here, which is essentially historic high. So who knows where this is going to go, but it can certainly get insane, just because it's hard for me to measure, you know, where's the resistance and support on this day one of the listing, right? So who knows where it goes. You just have to watch it after that, but expect it to go higher, certainly. Here's BitStar. Again, when I see a candle like this on the chart, it's something I want to be in, because the move for me in my mind has already happened. 5200 occurred a few days ago. Whatever. Cloud's going to be blown out because of this. Again, I've said this on a lot of these coins. Looks good for an entry based on the cloud if you believe in this target of 5K basically. And on the double, it's going to be even more blown out. Going to the 4 hour, you have an active edge-to-edge trade with target of 5K. So it's flagging on low time frames. It's got some volume, but I'm not going to buy it, that's for sure. Here's SDC, which easily wins the most bearish coin award of today and yesterday's vids. Why? Because it's instead of the bullish 5200s occurring, the bearish 5200 is occurring. Nothing but death here. If it breaks this level, it's certainly expected to go much, much lower. It's a full retrace here. The 4 hour 5200 occurred March 27th. I apparently have some notes on here for some reason. Don't know why. Something must have happened on that day, but anyway. Yeah, do not buy this coin. And again, you've seen so many clouds now. And does this one look like any of the clouds you've seen? No. Why? Because price is just below cloud the whole time. You can see it had a chance here, but it never pulled back up. And it's sort of bear flagging right now. So definitely not a buy based on that. It's very oversold, I can say that, based on the TK disequilibrium and how quick, you know, Eiffel Tower thing here for sure. We go to the 4 hour. Yeah, Eiffel Tower is where it just goes up and then straight down. Pump and dump basically. And just no hope in sight for SDC, unfortunately, for any of those holders. There's Vertcoin, which has also been around forever. 5200 across occurred April 8th on the daily. And on the 4 hour, occurred in March, so nothing too actionable there. If you go to the cloud, I got the hiccups from that insanely bearish SDC chart. On the, single daily, again, it's blown out, it's just moved too quick. Targets have already been hit, so this is nothing I want to be in based on that alone. 4 hour, your target would be half of the move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 5, whatever. but it's got days or weeks away from that. You can see it's certainly ranging at the bottom here, but it could always just keep going south. If we go to the daily, again, nothing I want to be in. You can see it hit this level, it hit this level. Next level would have been here if it keeps going. And then after that here. And you can see how the cloud just paints itself for you. It's no brainer. You don't have to think about anything. It did have all-time high in volume here, which says something. You know, is it really going to just sit here at the historic lows, basically, on all-time high in volume? Probably not. I'm not going to buy it, but I probably should, based on that, with a target of 150k from 10. Ugh. Anyway, so it looks bullish to that degree. Here's QBK, whatever that is. 5200 already happened on the daily. It already happened on the 4-hour, also in March-ish. And again, the move happened, looks like the past 4 hours on, on whatever this was. It was above the cloud a few candles prior. So there's that, but obviously, you know, the target is somewhere up here if you believe in this as a real candle. But nothing I'd want to be in now if I'm not already in it. And if we go to the daily, same thing, same target, same channel, same time, 4-hour doubled, same thing. It looks good for more up. It's got a lot of volume going on, but nothing I'd want to get into now. Here's LBC, which doesn't actually have enough data for a 5200 cross on the daily, but expect the 200 to be resistance. Should get that high. 5200 occurred in March on the 4-hour. With the cloud, now I've seen a lot of activity on Twitter about this coin, so I expect shenanigans right off the bat before I even look at the chart. You can see it's got some volume coming in. The cloud, I keep making it smaller, trying to find the top, whatever. The point is the resistance is definitely up here. It looks good for an entry, honestly, just again based off Twitter shenanigans, and the cloud says it's good for an entry, and your targets would be probably 36 to 16k, something like that. On the 4-hour, it's lit, is what it is. No, on the 4-hour, I don't know, just sideways a garbly mess. But again, the entry looks fine for a long here at this level. Buy. If we go to the doubled cloud on daily, fishing for targets here, looking for cliffs. Yeah, so here easier, the 22k and 11k. Some nice zones. Anything above that, I doubt highly, but we'll see. Nexium, also a pill. Not enough data for a 200 on the daily. 5200 on the 4-hour occurred March-ish. Okay, so that doesn't really tell me much. The cloud is just blown the F out here, and first cliff 1100, next cliff 23, 24, something like that. This looks just like LBC, to be honest. Same rationale. Everything's bullish. Entry looks fine. Daily, same thing. That's because it is LBC. Oop, my bad. I almost forgot to introduce myself. Okay. Nexium single daily cloud looks okay for an entry. Not much data, so I'd avoid using that time frame. 4-hour looks okay as well as far as the trend is concerned. It's near all-time high levels, so you expect it to go, I shouldn't say all-time high, historic high levels. Expect it to go higher if it breaks that zone. And I'm not even going to bother going to look on the doubled because there's not enough data. Here's RubyCoin cross occurring on the 23rd on the 4-hour, and on the daily it's occurring yesterday, something like that. Bunch of wicks So when I see that, I just get risk averse to the max. Just because pump and dump, you know, whatever. It already happened. It's happened. It's history. It's the baggage. Whatever. Entry looks fine based on technicals, as well as on the 4-hour singled cloud. Daily singled cloud looks okay. What's more important though is massive volume. RSI is not even above 80 yet, so this looks good as far as an entry is concerned. Targets being 5700 and 7600, something like that. Again, if you believe this is real, those are your targets. We go to the doubled cloud. Same thing. If you believe it's real, do you believe in magic? And yeah, so all that again looks good. Based on this, everything's bullish, but you know, it's pretty rangy. Moves kind of already happened. Here's NAVCoin, which 5200 occurred in March on the daily, and also February, and daily in 4 hours. So nothing actionable there. I keep forgetting to switch these over. Let me switch this. Target definitely already hit here on the daily. Let's just go to the 4-hour. Nothing really actionable. And I'll change this again. We're looking at, let's just go to the weekly. I mean, certainly at all-time high levels. Does it have hope? Who knows, but nothing I want to be in based on any of that information. This big crystal's pretty rangy. 5200 cross occurred early April on the daily, and too rangy to matter, but also occurred in end of March. Go to the cloud. Again, it's above the cloud. It's at the bottom, near the top of the cloud. So entry looks okay. Targets look okay. 4700, something like that. Nothing I want to buy though. It's just too rangy for me. If we go to the doubled daily, first target kind of already got hit, and then there's kind of a mess of a target up here at 4200-ish. Here's Horizon, which on log scale has a pretty horrible looking chart. So probably not, probably shouldn't use log. Let's just turn log off for a second. Okay. 5200 cross occurring recently. Just a heads up, the dev team is non-existent. So this coin doesn't really have a future other than greed and spec, but the text says it's okay. If we go to the 4-hour, again, it's kind of like Doge, where it just has huge gaps in trading where nothing really happens. 4-hour, March 22nd, 5200 occurred. And if we go to daily cloud, levels kind of already got hit. I feel like this move already happened. Again, a lot of these charts are showing this TK cross, not usually the recross. This is one of the few that does show the recross already, but it's tough to want to be in this when you've seen all this action already. And on the doubled cloud, again, targets basically already got hit. Here's NXT, which is one of my bags. 5200 has not yet occurred on the daily, one of the few coins that hasn't happened. It'd be interesting. I should have been writing this all out as I was going, but listing out the coins where the 5200 hasn't occurred yet, or where the edge-to-edge trade is possible but hasn't happened yet. Those are definitely worth adding to any watch list. So if you believe in the daily 5200s, certainly watch this. It does look like shoulder head shoulder right now, and it's pretty clean, and I'm guessing volume, yeah, volume confirms it. So it doesn't look great for more up right now for me in my bag, but we'll take a look at the cloud here. And again, the reason I bought this is I just saw this massive downtrend with cloud bottoming out. So I bought it somewhere in January here. So overall, again, it looks like a good entry. You got the cross-recross here on the daily, the TK lines. Targets are all the way up here. This probably is the most realistic target. It's 3300 level. If we go to daily, doubled cloud, again, you're seeing 3400 level. for targets. Everything's bullish on the double bullish cloud, bullish TK, bullish lagging span. You just have to watch for this head and shoulders if it breaks down or not. And 4 hour is just sideways ranging. Here's Nautilus, which has a history that I don't really know much about, but it's been around for a while. And it's had its W bottom. 5200 cross has not yet occurred. It's also one of my bags. Keep that in mind as I'm telling you about it. 5200 cross occurred on 4 hour in March 19th. Okay, let's look at some cloud action here. It's interesting, it had all this volume but didn't really go much further up, so it's kind of weird. Again, like NXT, targets up here somewhere. 37,000, 60,000, something like that. Entry looks fine. It broke this local level here. It's definitely cup and handle confirmed. It broke the horizontal, so yes, I'm in this already, but it looks really good for more up. So buyer beware. But going to the 4 hour, 4 hour also looks good for more up. Again, everything's bullish here. Going to the doubled, it's above the cloud, cloud's bullish, everything's bullish here. Targets being 3,500 to 8,700. It's pretty good. We'll see where it goes. You know, if it can get volume like this when it's above the cloud, I think it can go much higher. There'll be much less resistance on the order book most likely. But really this 56K level's probably most realistic. 56, 57K, something like that. Came on the daily at all-time high levels. For that reason alone, I'd not touch it. 5,200 across on the daily occurred already back in March with everything else. On the daily cloud, again, I wouldn't touch it. It's overbought. Based on the TK disequilibrium here, there was support being all the way down here. Can certainly push higher and higher, but it's nothing I want to be in if I'm not already in it. There's a massive volume div here, bit of an RSI div as well. If we go to the doubled daily, same thing, TK disequilibrium, C-clamp, pullback more likely than continuation. 4 hour doubled, your target would be 40K basically for support. Somewhere in here. This doesn't really look like a pattern of any kind. It's at all-time high levels, so I wouldn't touch it. Here's C2, which is a pretty crazy wick up here. 5,200 occurred a few days ago. It's got the similar U-shaped pattern that many of these alts have. We go to the single daily cloud. Again, this TK cross recross situation. It says it's already essentially hit its previous target, which, even though, you know, this happened and it failed to hit, and then this target was painted and then it hit that target. That's why I always look at all the ledges, because they're all targets. This is a good example of that. So, you know, it failed here, but it hit basically here. So, you know, for me, the move already happened. I wouldn't touch this. And on the doubled, same thing. 4 hour, interestingly, look like a edge-to-edge trade that played out real nicely here. This is textbook edge-to-edge trade, folks. Entry beautiful here. Never went lower than this candle this whole time. So that's what you wish and hope for when you're taking an edge-to-edge trade. And it hit this target. Sure, it went higher, but overall, take the easy money, and that being the edge-to-edge trade. SysCoin 5,200 occurred a few days ago on the daily, so nothing actionable there. And in March on the 4 hour, oh, it's a garbly mess. This looks like made in Factum with this just massive triangle action. It's giant W. I don't know. It's nothing that's really akin to TA. It's just all over the place. Certainly at all-time high levels. For that reason alone, I wouldn't touch it. Doesn't mean it might just not. It might not. Doesn't mean it won't exponentially just shoot up, but it's not something I want to trade. Here's Digibyte, which the 5,200 occurred a few days ago now, so that's okay for actionability. The targets look nice just based on this versus this 161 level. So it's not even double I guess it's a little more than double its current level. You can bang out that double if you want, but yeah, that's possible. Kind of looks like Doge, where it's just like, nothing happens most of the time until something happens. But overall, this trend looks really good on the 4-hour singled, daily singled, kind of blown out, but everything's bullish. This was the first target. This is the next target, 117. And then I just like this 160 level because of these wicks here. Well, it's tough to see. These wicks here. And on the double cloud, targets being 112 again, and then 500 essentially if you believe in this. There's BitCoin, which essentially isn't ever been above 30 sats for a lot of time. For that reason, I would leave it alone. 5200 did occur though a few days ago, and whether or not that's reliable, unlikely. But the daily cloud, I'm not even gonna touch this, but again, you're getting the same picture where it's this U and bearish decay, and the move already happened. Is it going to happen again? Will she or won't she? I would just stay out of all this. This is a nice volume spike, and your target could be 100 if you expect it to go higher, but not worth entering for me. Here's the cred, 5200 cross in March. No action really there on the daily. 4-hour, it looks like it bounced on the 200. I'm assuming, if this will load here. Yeah, so it bounced on the 200. Like a few of these coins have. A few of these coins look just like this, where it's flag, broke down, bounced on the 200. It's got a W thing going on. It's about the 50. Will it or won't it? Nothing I want to touch. Like bearish DK cross here, above the cloud. 4-hour looks okay. Everything's bullish. The target's upside's limited. 013. But that looks okay for an entry for Decred. I'm not going to trade it, but it looks okay. Daily cloud, not worth talking about. Here's a nice edge-to-edge possibility. 0145, 0132, something like that, as far as targets are concerned. Quora, whatever that is. Lifetime not too high in sat value. 5200 crosses occurring on the daily now, but it's not really reliable based on just the market structure. It's definitely at the historic low, but nothing I want to get into. You can, if you want to just throw away money and toss like 0.1 or something in these low sat value coins and just put an insane target, why not scratch off that lottery ticket? And cloud's really going to be unremarkable, but it's bullish. Everything's just flat. Target being 38 to 40, something like that. And then the daily doubled. Again, well, everything's flipping bullish here. Maybe let's turn that around, folks. Let's back that truck up for a minute. Cloud is just turning bullish here. I don't know if you can see that. Bullish Kumo twist. Price above cloud. LS lagging span above cloud. TK bullish. Target being, again, 30 to 40. So you can bang out this double as well. I really have to stop saying that. Alright, here's NSR, which has a doom and gloom chart if I've ever seen one. Essentially sitting at 0 sats for the past year, well, 6 months-ish. In its heyday, it was at 2K. Certainly at the bottom historically, so at the very least, that's worth a buy. 5200 has not occurred yet. When it does, expect greatness from this coin on the daily anyway. 4-hour 5200, if it will load here, and it just doesn't want to load. That's nice. Okay, on the daily, cloud singled, targets 124 and 300 essentially. Looks good for an entry. Again, it's at historicals already. Is it going to go to zero sats? Is it going to get delisted? It might, but it's worth throwing some in there. Sprinkling some seeds around in the garden, see what grows. Again, 100, 300, something like that. 800K, 1K, as far as targets are concerned. It looks okay for up. It's got some nice volume over the past few months. I don't know. I shouldn't hype this up too much because it's probably just going to stay at 0. Here's Burst, which people have asked me about before in the past. 4 hour 5200 occurred in March. On the daily, it also occurred in February. So no actionability there. If we go to the cloud daily, again, it's already hit its targets. It's at historic highs. Nothing I'd want to get into. Doubled cloud, saying the same thing. Historic highs. Can certainly go a little higher. Maybe to 400 or something. But it does have this nice U. So if it does a cup handle, and then to 1 million, that's certainly possible. So here's FLDC, an active bag, which I've tweeted about today. I let go half of it at 300. Got some hate. It's now at 283. But 5200 occurred on the daily a long time ago. It's July, something like that. Definitely not actionable on that time frame. And 4 hours, let's see if that loads. The reason I let go of half of it is because it reached for the target. So 420 was the target, 427, something like that. Again, just 50% of this move. We'll see if it flags out from here and then goes another leg. It certainly looks like it's trying to. But nothing I'd want to re-enter at this price based on this structure. 4 hour 5200 occurred March 21st, and you can see it bounced on the 200 a few times, and it's pulling back quite nicely here. The last but certainly not least is Dogecoin. Tons of historic data on this, and what do you know, you're getting a 5200 cross occurring a few days ago. I'm already in this, by the way, active bag alert. So that happened. And you can see how messy these candles are. They just go sideways, basically. 5200 on the 4 hour occurred in March. So this is actionable on the daily based on that. And you can see how much selling this has had. And if we look at the single cloud, same thing. It's just been nothing but selling, nothing but red. All of a sudden, we're getting some buying here. I think I'm at like 30 or something. Like somewhere in here. Anyway, is it worth buying with this picture? I don't know, but it's Dogecoin. It's got a lot of meme magic behind it. 4 hour, let that load. Daily doubled. That looks fine for an entry. It's at the Kijun. Targets being 83. Just looking at the weekly real quick. It historically likes 83, something like that. So I'd expect it to go to 80. I think that's where my sells are at. So that's all I have for this video. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you loved or hated any of the commentary. It's been a long journey. Happy trading.